Tuesday, October 17th. I'm Amy Corr, and I'm here with Kevin Van Eck, and here we are in the Goose Island office.
Good morning.
So we have been talking about business planning and getting ourselves ready to roll for a great 2024. So we're continuing that this morning. We're going to focus on marketing and talking about things that you can do to make sure your marketing plan is up to snuff as you move into next year. So on that note, make sure it's hot. Fill her on up. Mine looks pretty good. And let's jump into the next episode of Coffee with Amy and Kevin.
That's right. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, everyone. Business planning. Look, you're going to have a business plan before Thanksgiving. This is awesome. So hopefully you're following along with us. If you haven't been following along, go back, watch the last two episodes. And one key part of this is make sure you download the business planning doc that you can see in the copy on this video, but also in the email you received to get to this video. So make sure you download that. So what are we talking about? When you open up that document, go to the marketing tab. We're going to talk through marketing. Now you'll see it's super comprehensive. You could include every little detail about every little program. You'll get there. That's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about 3 concepts plus a hot tip, a bonus.
Right. A bonus tip.
Yes,
yep.
That you need to think about when you're creating your marketing plan, because each one of you is going to have a very, very different marketing plan based on you, your business, and your market. So we're going to talk about the concepts you need to think about when you're creating that marketing plan for 24.
Yeah, and I think before you start filling everything in, these are kind of some of the things that get a blank piece of paper out, right? And start thinking about some of the strategic things as it relates to your marketing. So the first thing that we want to talk about is mapping it out. You know, one of the things that I encourage so many agents to do is kind of think through the full year. And it may not be every single detail, but mapping out both from a budget standpoint and who you want to get in contact with and how frequently, right? So throwing out sort of a budget, and it can be anything from $5,000 to $50,000, depending on what your goals are, right? But then once you figure that out, how am I going to fill the year roughly with that budget that I've put together? Because so many agents, what I've seen is they'll kind of just fly by the seat of their pants as they're trying to figure out what postcard should I be doing next month? Should I be doing a client appreciation party? But if you're thinking about it and spending some time right now, you're going to be much more effective, because if you know you want to do, let's say, 2 client appreciation parties, you can think about it right now. Now, you don't need to know the venue. You don't need to necessarily know every person who's going to be invited. Right. But if you have an idea of, look, I want to be able to do a summer client appreciation party, and then maybe I want to do something around Thanksgiving. Awesome. You're already planning for next year, and you already know the dates or the rough time frames in the calendar of where to put it. Same thing if you want to do postcards. Again, starting to think, what is the frequency? How often am I going to be doing it? And planning it out and road mapping it on a calendar. And then here's the other thing that you can be doing. I also want you to think about, what did I do last year that worked well and I maybe want to continue? And maybe what are some of the things that I'm going to decide I might want to change up or do something different? Again, starting to create a plan, a calendar, and a framework that you can start filling in. So then once you've done that, then it's easier to get into that tab on that Excel spreadsheet and start filling in some of the real specifics.
100%. It's super funny. We were just talking with an agent who was already talking about their client appreciation party, which is great, but they were already into the signature cocktail and what they were going to do, but they had no other plans for marketing for the entire year. They were in the weeds on this one party. We need to stay clear of that. Keep this high level at this point, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about number 2, consistency and commitment. And this plan is going to help you do that. So when you're thinking through all of the different programs, and it may be not many, it may be extensive depending on your business. When you think through all the programs, realize that it's a commitment. Sometimes what we see, especially when people are doing it last minute, or it is that sort of like just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks plan, which isn't a good plan, is that sometimes we'll front load our marketing. We'll do big postcard plans for the first 2 months, and then it'll taper off and we'll do nothing for the rest of the year. That's where this planning part comes in, is where you do have a plan that you can follow for consistency. Because if you send out 200 postcards for the first 2 months, let's say, and then you do nothing the rest of the year, you might as well just burn the cash those first 2 months, because it's not going to have the impact you want. So when you're making this plan, map it out over the entire year, like Amy's saying, so that you can be consistent. It's a plan to follow, and the commitment piece. Sometimes we do put these plans in place and expect turnkey results immediately, like with direct mail or sometimes with digital, or maybe we built a new website that's driving leads, whatever it might be. Don't give up. Realize that it is a commitment over a period of time to see the results before you drop it. So as you're planning, mapping it out and doing it over the 12-month period will give you the roadmap for every month to be sure you're consistent and so you can see the commitment you're making so that at the end of 24 is when you can see when things are working or if they're not and reassess for the following year.
Yeah, because I think like anything in this business, we always say it's a marathon, not a sprint, right?
Yes.
And that really is true for your marketing and just getting in front of people and staying top of mind, right? That's what the marketing component is all about, is making sure that the people in your sphere of influence consistently see you. And the last piece that I kind of want to touch on, which I know I get and talk to a lot of agents about, Amy, I don't necessarily have the biggest budget as it pertains to marketing. And not all of us have the 20, 30, 15, even the 10 maybe $1,000 to spend. That's okay. You do have to recognize that you do need to spend money in order to reinvest and grow in your business. But it's also where you can figure out, if I don't have a lot of money, then I've got to insert my time, right?
Yes.
Time is going to have to replace the dollars you put into maybe sending postcards, right? So if you are doing something different, then it's maybe you're not mailing stuff out, but maybe you're dropping things off to all of the people in your sphere of influence. You're cutting costs by taking your time to actually stop by and drop things off at their houses.
That's right.
Or, being able to just do different things like a real estate review, right? You might be able to spend more time doing those quality things and being able to get them in front of your clients. It might be different than, being able to always do a pop by and a particular gift if that gets too costly. But creating a real estate review, printing it out, and giving it to them is pretty cost effective. So as you're going through and looking at my year, figure out what your budget is, and all of us have to have some type of a budget. But if it's lean, then ask yourself, where can I replace dollars and insert my time and my doing things and taking action that will still market to my sphere of influence, still get me in front of them, but it will work within the budget constraints that I've got for this year.
That's right. And what do you recommend when we talk about, because the question always comes up, what percentage of my, let's say, total income should I use for marketing? When people are looking for what makes sense from a percentage-wise, what do you think they should do?
Yeah, I've seen it across the board, but I would say on average, I'm seeing anywhere from 5 to 10% of your gross commission income. And I don't know if you're in agreement with that, but that's what I think is in the business plan and has kind of been rule of thumb. I've seen people spend more, certainly, but I think it's a good place to start.
Yeah, it was sort of like a softball question because we know the answer, but we just wanted to articulate it in case you have that question and you missed it in the sheet.
Yeah.
It really is that 5 to 10. So with that, the bonus is that we know with the 5
Pro
to 10%, the pro tip, we know that agents out there, we've talked about it quite a bit. Like there's so many agents just trying to survive right now. They're looking at 24, like hopefully we can make it through to 25. We're thriving to 25. So with that, make sure that you don't pull back so hard on both, like Amy was talking, money and time, because that's what other agents are going to do. This is the opportunity for you to ramp it up, stay in front of your people, and differentiate yourself. While other agents are trying to survive, you're teeing yourself up for not only a better 24, but an awesome 25.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity out for all of us out there right now. So what I would encourage you to do is take this time. Kevin and I were saying, every other industry in the world right now, guess what they are doing is they are looking at their plan and what they're going to do to be successful in 2024. So It's a perfect time for all of us to do the same thing because if you take the time now, you are going to be organized, you're going to be ready, and you're going to be confident in how you're going to take action, and you are going to be one of those individuals out there that are going to be able to take opportunity.
That's right.
Thrive. So, that's right. Thrive. So on that note, make it a great Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. But until then, remember, you got this.
You got this.